We'd like to say good evening to everyone. We'd like to thank you for tuning in today to our city information session. Specifically, today we'll have a special guest that we will be introducing to some and presenting to others. Mr. Quentin Prude, he's our street and sanitation supervisor. He's been at the job for approximately 6 or 7 months, and we're slowly trying to progress to do some updates around the city. And one of the things that we're encouraging today is if you have a question, you can feel free to type it in. Um, After the session is over with, we'll make sure that open the floor and go back to our camera to see kind of what questions that we might have missed. Um, Today again, after he has given some updates, we'll give some updates around the city about what's going on, questions that I've gotten recently, and then we'll end it and try to keep everything, try to keep it going to about 6:30, if not a little sooner. With that being said, I also like to remind everybody that on the first Monday of each month, we have our walk. Uh, Part of Councilwoman Ball, see something, say something, Councilwoman Ball and the city of Allentown, see something, say something, stop something. We have our prayer walk that happens every Monday, first Monday at 5:30 at the city hall. So we're out here rain or shine. Today I'm missing out, so I got to get my lap in later. So, but normally first Monday every of every month, that's when we'll be doing that. Without further ado, we're gonna allow Mr. Prude to introduce himself, and then we'll ask a couple of questions of him and kind of progress on with our broadcast.
Good afternoon, Alex Steve.
Um, Mr. Prude, you've been with the city of Allentown for approximately 6 months, but can you give a little background about where you have been, as far as what experience you bring to the street sanitation department?
Well, for about 10 years, I worked for the city of Alexfield before I took a job on the phone as supervisor up there. And as we were in that particular city, we made great things happen. You can make great things happen when you work together. Hadn't had any problems with people not going to work so far. So far, so good. But the best is yet to come.
Right, all right. Um, that being said, he mentioned that he did have some experience, and that's part of the reason what brought him on. But also, he's from the city of Allentown, so he has a background of knowing the landscape of the city, being here for 10 years. So, what are some of the things that you've accomplished in the last 6 or 7 months in the city of Allentown that you'd like to share?
Well, in the first thing that I'm thanking God for, we got a new garbage truck. You'll be able to see it tomorrow because we're going to put it out on the street as of tomorrow. Um, we were able to fix some few potholes around town. Also, we was able to fix a great washout that was down on the Baptist line and put up new signs and stuff such as that.
That's like I said, that's a definite testament to some of the things. And again, we're progressing it. This is not some of the only things that we're going to be doing. One of the things I'll be talking about after will be roads and some of the things that we're doing with our roads. Uh, but again, we like to thank you for some of that. As far as what the city of Alabama, what would you like to see? What would be your what would be your goal as far as the city of Allentown, ideally, um, from where we are to where you would ideally like to see
Basically, a lot more done with some equipment. the necessary equipment to get the job done is a real must. We have ditches and stuff that need to be cleaned out, and we also have ditches that need to be cut. But like I said, when you know who God is, something you don't worry about. We already know He got us.
I agree 110%. Some of the things you mentioned already was our sanitation truck. That truck will be doing residential garbage tomorrow. And one of the things that will support us in helping keeping the equipment together is individuals being and buying a garbage bin. So that way it'll save our street sanitation workers, and it'll help with our truck and on the wear and tear of our vehicle. So one of the things that we wanted to kind of do conjunctively and work almost perfectly together was, in addition to having a new garbage truck, which you all will see on tomorrow, for those who are on the Tuesday route. Um, we also have garbage bins available to purchase at the city hall. Um, for individual, the cost of the bins, that's been something that everyone's asked. We're trying to make it as economically feasible for everyone. So the cost of those garbage bins is $90. If you Google, as I will do and have done, the price for these 96-gallon garbage cans are approximately $125 and up. And so what you get here is a garbage can from Alexville, and if you need to pick it up from Alexville, you can, or if you need to deliver it, we are able to do that as well for some instances. So I think that we priced it competitively for those that need some payment options. You are able to go to the water department and adjust that on your bill and have it to where you can make payments on that garbage bin until you're able to pay it off. But we do want to make sure it makes our street and sanitation workers' job easier, and it makes our city look a lot cleaner when we all have garbage bins that are all uniform or that are all the rolling carts so that the garbage truck can pick them up. Um, the other thing that I kind of like to address is sometimes we do have issues where, and Mr. Prude can attest to, where we may miss something. We are human, so we do forget. But one thing that I like to remind everybody is we are all open, and I try to make sure I emphasize to our staff, to myself, and to Mr. Prude, to Ms. McKay, to our chief, to make sure that we listen to what the citizens have to say. And the citizens have the ability to call City Hall. You don't have to just reach out to me. I'm fine with it if you do. But our City Hall, if we happen to miss your sanitation pickup, is our City Hall is waiting to be contacted on that. Then we have ways to communicate interagency, so that way people can communicate. So if we have Mr. Trash, or if you have limb pickup, and that's one thing we kind of can talk about. Um, what is your process, or what is our process on limb pickup? Do we just randomly pick up limbs, or explain?
In most cases, what we do, we allow you to call it in to City Hall in order to get it done. In most cases, we don't want limbs and junk together. That's a bigger cost when you do it that way. Now, if you can separate the two, you can make the job so much easier for us.
Right, right. And also another point I like to emphasize: if you have junk that you need us to pick up, um, the way that we operate is you must call the property owner, or the person that's going to be responsible for the bill, needs to call City Hall. Um, when we ride out and we'll see trash that's out, and we'll try to reach out to those owners. Sometimes we know them, sometimes we may not. But it's imperative that the property owner reach out to us versus a neighbor or anybody else. If a neighbor reaches out, then we're gonna do our due diligence and do it, but we can't operate on someone else's private property without them allowing us to come on to their property. So that's part of the reason why. And then previously we were having issues with who was responsible for the bill. So in order to kind of alleviate that and to make us legal, so to speak, we're gonna ask that you call 205-373-6611 for any of your issues. If we happen to miss your dumpster, if we happen to miss your garbage, if you forget to put your garbage out, sometimes we make concessions to do that. We're making some alterations to that, but for whatever it is, for your limb need, your pickup needs, just let us know. And as soon as you let us know, we'll try to harp on that immediately, or as soon as it's feasibly possible. Um, and going into that, is there anything else that you want to kind of say before we move our update?
To make it known, you know, the city has to pay to haul off trash. So I just think it's only fair for us to do our part to help with the cost.
Right, right, right. And what we mean by that is, there are some limbs that we can, if it's limbs only, there's a different rate that we can charge versus if we have to take an item or a truckload or an item to a junk pile. We don't have our own junkyard, and so the city of Allentown relies on other entities in order to accept the trash that you put out. So we don't keep it at the compound. We don't keep it at the at any other areas. We have to take that to another location. And when we take that to another location, it's a fee for that. And they charge us per tonnage. They charge us as far as the weight of the garbage that we're taking. So just to kind of give you some figures about what's going on with the street and sanitation department, each year or each month, I'm sorry, we pay approximately $6,500 for our normal trash. So that's the trash that we take up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Mondays and Thursdays, there are dumpster days, but we try to take care of our dumpster customers. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, those are household days. So each household is entitled to one 96-gallon bin um, for pickup. So when we're taking out trash, and as we do that, we have a set rate that we have to pay, regardless if we bring one truck in or if we bring two trucks in or 20 trucks in. It's that same rate. The other thing that we have to pick up is limbs, junk, commodes, trash, animals, all those type of things. If we have to take some of those to the dumpster, there's an additional charge on that. So that's the reason why when we pick up your limbs, if it's limbs and it's a smaller amount, the rate may be lower. Or if it's just a truckload, not a truckload, but if it's a pickup load full or one or two branches, we don't we typically don't try to charge for that. But if it's something that's going to charge us to go to our dumping site, then we are going to have to pass on that cost to you as the consumer. We take up most of those costs because we still have labor, we have wear and tear on your vehicle, all those things, but we just have the fuel cost. So, but we still have to show you or pass on that cost to you. So it's not that we're charging just to be charging. We're charging because they're charging us. So and that's something that's not included. That's how we keep our rates as low as they are because it's something that we're not including. Um, that being said, I like to again thank Mr. Prude for being. He's gonna stay with me while we talk about some of these other issues that go and he can chime in if he has something. Um, Couple of updates that we got on the city, and I'll try to keep them brief because I see we're up on our time. Um, are coming up on time. Road analysis. When we first got into office and we first came to Allentown, one of the number of concerns we had were our road situation. The last time our roads were paved was probably in 2008, 2009 ish, somewhere. Well, actually, probably before then, 2004, 2003. They refinanced the bond issue in 2011, and Part of that bond issue was what we refinanced recently. That simply means that we tried to get a lower rate on the debt that was paid. It cost approximately $2.1 million to refinance this bond issue, and we saved the city this over the course of the bond issue life, which is 2041. We saved the city almost $200,000 by refinancing this bond issue. So with that being said, we are in the business of trying to save our taxpayers' money so that way we can reinvest it into the community through services. That being said, our road cost is estimate has came in. I had an engineer that came out to look at all the roads in the city of Allenville, and the approximate cost of this road repaving is going to be about $2.3 million. Again, I'm gonna say that again. The cost of the roads 2.3 million with the $. And that's to pave all our city streets and all of um, our side areas, downtown, side streets that are in the city limits. Um, some of that cost may be shaved off because of some grant money that we're seeking, but expect for us to be having a bill of about 2.5 to 2.3 million to complete this task. That being said, we have some options that we're going to try to do. But first, some of these areas that we're going to pave, they are when they were included in the estimate, we included the entire street. Now, some of these places might not be in the city limits per se, meaning that the Baptist line, there's some streets on the road on the Baptist line that are actually not in the city limits. So we won't be able to pave those streets if they're not in the city limits. Um, so it gives some incentive that if you want to come into the city limits, know that we are working on a paving project and that you can come into the city limits. It's not live. The only thing that would change would be your tax. Your property tax will increase slightly. I think nobody's would increase over $100 over the course of a year. So
The one thing that we need to make known about the speed breakers and also about the necessary changes we're gonna make on Third.
okay, right. That's gonna be something that we definitely bring up. Our speed breakers we purchased some speed breakers this year. Um, Speed breakers will be placed in hotspot areas first. So we haven't identified all of them just yet, but um, they will be placed in their speed tables. So you will be able to go at least 10 miles per hour over them, but it's designed to slow down traffic. I know right off the bat, a couple of areas is Third Street. Um, that's one area where we're probably gonna put some that's coming through town behind B Mart. Another one is the city park. Um, and as we uh, progress in our term, we'll add different streets and put more speed breakers out. But we couldn't go out and just buy 200 speed breakers to put all across town. They cost. But once we get these down, you'll see them. Also on Third, we will be adjusting the traffic flow on Third. That's behind B Mart, but we're gonna make that traffic flow so that way pedestrians and people who are new to our city, they'll know how traffic is supposed to flow. There's been a lot of almost accidents in that area, and it's been like that for ever since I've been a small kid. So we're gonna try to update that area to show where traffic will flow. And as soon as not the state, the county gets us the materials that we need, that'll be completed. So that's another thing. That's a good one to add on. As far as our street and sanitation department has been devoid of equipment, meaning we haven't had a lot of equipment in our street and sanitation area, as far as new purchases go. So what we're trying to do is come up with a plan to get equipment so that way we're better able to serve the citizens. Why do we need more equipment? If you look around the city, you'll see that some of the right of ways, some of the ditching areas that are lower than the lawnmower or lawnmower would allow. Some of the embankments that we have that have not been cut is because our sidearm tractor is currently down. And it was working at the beginning of the season. We had some issues, had to take it somewhere. Then it worked for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it went back down again. Transmission issues. We found that out the later part of last week, and it's going to cost approximately $20,000 in order to repair it. That being said, we're considering our options to see if we need to invest $20,000 in this tractor or potentially look at other ways to have a tractor. But we have to have the track. We have to have a sidearm. Other things that we're looking at trying to purchase are a dump truck, or actually a grapple truck, so that way we're able to pick up limbs and dump at the same time without having to use two trucks. Currently, that's the system that we use and it's working. However, we're trying to be more efficient with taxpayer dollars, so we're able to send one vehicle out versus two vehicles out. That helps out on insurance, that helps out on wear and tear, that helps out on maintenance, and we're able to efficiently move around the city. Another thing that we're trying to look at doing is transportation for our street and sanitation workers. Currently, we only have one truck that is operational, and we need to make sure that they have a way to get from point A to point B, whether that's to cut grass, to pick up trash, to cut limbs, whatever it is. So we are working strategically, trying to find some vehicles. They don't have to be new, but we're looking at some. We have some options to do that as well. So that's some of the things going on with our street and sanitation. Some of the other things that's going on in town is our back to school uh, rally will be on August the 5th, and that's this Saturday, I believe. August the 5th, August the 7th, I'm sorry, August the 7th, this Saturday. It'll start at 5 p.m. and it'll be here at the City Hall. Also on that day, we'll be having our gun buyback, which will be from 8 to 12. It'll be from 8 to 12 right at the Aliceville Police Department. How that's gonna work is you bring unload, you put your unloaded weapon in the trunk of your car, you drive up to the police station, the police will give you instructions to open your trunk, you open your trunk, they'll take out the gun, they'll document it, and then you'll drive away with whatever type of gun it is, depending on what amount up to $100 for your weapon. So that's part of that. All weapons confiscated will be destroyed. They will not be retained by the department. The right. The Also we this year was our second year, but our first big year in doing the summer soccer league. I would like to congratulate Ms. Jerica Jones, and I'd like to thank all the families that and parents that allowed their children to participate. We had upwards of 40 individuals who came and participated. Or who signed up. We have people all the way from Gordo, some in the Mississippi area that came because they wanted to have their child a part of soccer. So that's something that we're going to continue to build on. It's something that we talked about, something for our youth, something for our children, and we're going to try to continue to build on that. One of the things that we're looking at doing this fall is basketball and having some type of basketball league for our youth. We'll try to work hand in hand with the local school system, and as well as utilizing some of our facilities to try to facilitate that. But that's something that we're definitely going to try. There'll be some bumps in the road, so just work with us. But we want to get our kids active. We want to make sure that they have things that they can do outside of just school, And if we can offer that program, that would be beneficial for you as a parent and for us as a community. The parks, how we plan to do that is our parks and recreation. We want to try to expand our parks and recreation department and potentially have someone, if we're able to finalize a plan, to have someone specifically dedicated to coordinating events for parks and recreation. That does not mean they'll just be doing stuff for kids. They'll do stuff for adults. We'll have maybe some pottery classes, have some painting, have some quilting, have different type of venues that will come in and programs. So that way we can try to engage all of the community to work together, to play together, to socialize together. Our budget for 2021, we are working on it. As soon as it's announced, we'll have it announced at our city council meeting. And also on August the 9th, we will be having a prayer before our school starts. School is about to start for our children in Allenville and across Pickens County. So we're going to have prayer on August the 9th back at the pavilion, and that will start at 6 p.m. The last thing that I want to kind of bring up, and then I'll go to my computer for a second to see if we have any questions or concerns that I might immediately address. One of the biggest problems that I think we have in our community is housing. Mr. Prude has done an excellent job about putting that information out, and we thank him for it. One thing that I want to try to do to go a step further is the City of Allenville webpage will be showing, we'll be asking for individuals who have homes that they want to sell, homes that they want to rent, or businesses that are for sale or have availability for rent. The City of Allenville will be creating a page so that way you'll have that property address and that contact number and the information if they want to rent or if they want to sell. Because a lot of the questions that I get each and every day is, hey, I need somewhere to stay. I need somewhere to place my business. And if we have that information readily available, then people can go directly to the website. They can look at that information and we can update it as much as we need to make sure that that's passed out. So what I need from you guys is, please, ma'am, please, sir, turn in your places to live, turn in your areas that you're trying to rent, turn in your areas that you have for sale. And the information that we need is the name, the contact number, the location, and whether you want to rent or whether you want to sell. And then also for businesses, the same information, your name, your contact number, whether you want to rent or whether you want to sell. And the location. So we need all those things. So we're trying to make our city more efficient and utilize the resources that we do have currently. That being said, I don't have any other things. I'm gonna look on camera and see if there's anything else, and then we'll. I don't see anything. All right, I don't see anything on my end. So I don't see any comments on my end. It might be my streaming mechanism, but once I get offline, I'll go back and look at the comments in our station and answer the ones that I need to answer. If I need a direct message, I'll direct message. I just want to make sure we give some updates about what's going on. And that being said, we'd like to thank you for tuning in, and you guys have a great evening.